On Oscar nominations morning last February, there were lots of exciting first-time nominees in the 4 acting categories. Jessie Buckley received her first nomination in the Best Supporting Actress category. Troy Kotsur and Ariana DeBose both won Oscars on their first nominations. There was the well-deserved first nomination for Kristen Stewart, who surprised in the Best Actress category for Spencer, and who was my previous female subject in my Elusive Oscar series. And then there were 3 first-time nominees, all representing Jane Campion's magnificent The Power of the Dog. There was Cody Smith-McPhee, who after years of great work in films like Let Me In and Slow West, finally got an Academy nom. Jesse Plemons, who I think should have been nominated in years past for Other People and Game Night, got in for his terrific performance. And then there was the one and only Kirsten Dunst, who finally, after 3 decades of amazing work in both film and television, can now be called an Academy Award nominee. It happened, I would argue, about 27 years too late. Her list of amazing performances worthy of at least 2 additional Oscar nominations by now, if not more. In this video, I'm going to talk about Dunst's remarkable career in film and TV, and talk about why she's never won that elusive Oscar. Kirsten Dunst was born on April 30th, 1982, in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. She started her career at age 3 as a child fashion model in television commercials, and she appeared in bit parts in projects like The Bonfire of the Vanities and Star Trek The Next Generation before she moved to Los Angeles in 1993 to pursue more acting opportunities. As it turned out, she didn't have to wait very long, because soon thereafter she received 2 juicy parts in 2 major 1994 releases, Interview with the Vampire and Little Women. In Interview with the Vampire, based on the Anne Rice novel and starring Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, Dunst plays Claudia, a child vampire who is a surrogate daughter to Cruise and Pitt's characters.
And if I cut my hair again?
It will grow back again.
In a film that got a lot of press upon its release in November 1994, one of the standouts was clearly Dunst, who held her own next to 2 giant movie stars. She is angelic and also downright creepy in the movie, a performance of an actor well beyond her years. She won the Fangoria Chainsaw Award for Best Supporting Actress and the MTV Movie Award for Best Breakthrough Performance. She received her first major nomination at the Golden Globes in early 1995 for Best Supporting Actress. Shockingly, her only Globe nomination for a movie until almost 3 decades later. She lost to Diane Wiest in Bullets Over Broadway, a performance that went on to win the Oscar too, but there was clearly a lot of love for Woody Allen's comedy that season, because I would argue Jennifer Tilly was the one who took Dunst's place in supporting actress, and there are 2 other reasons Dunst didn't make it to her first Oscar nomination at that time. One, obviously, is that she was super young at just 12 years old, and only a rare few children have gone on to be recognized by the Academy. The other reason is that it might not have been clear which movie to nominate Dunst for, because as great as she was in Interview with the Vampire, she was also excellent in the 1994 adaptation of Little Women, starring Winona Ryder and Susan Sarandon. Dunst played the role of Amy March, the character that got Florence Pugh to an Oscar nomination in 2020 for Greta Gerwig's more recent adaptation. As Amy in the 1994 version, Dunst is emotional and vulnerable, showing different shades to her talent than she showed in Interview with the Vampire.
It's an appalling school. Your spelling's atrocious, your Latin absurd.
Mr. Davis said it was as useful to educate a woman as to educate a female cat.
Little Women did well critically and commercially at the end of '94, and like Interview with the Vampire, it managed some Academy Award nominations, the most prominent for this one being Winona Ryder for Best Actress. Whatever happened when it came to the Oscars that year, it didn't really matter. Dunst had arrived big time, and she had a tremendous, flourishing career ahead of her. She's super fun and believable in the at times very unbelievable 1995 family adventure movie Jumanji, starring Robin Williams. She played a role in the similarly themed Small Soldiers and was a recurring character on ER. And in 1997, she had a small part in Barry Levinson's very funny satire Wag the Dog, which earned Dustin Hoffman an Oscar nomination for Best Actor. I would argue her next important year in cinema was 1999, which gave us 4, count 'em 4, fantastic Dunst performances, 2 comedic, 2 dramatic. Let's start with the comedies, which were released weeks apart from each other in the summer. In Dick, Dunst stars alongside Michelle Williams in a story of 2 high school girls who inadvertently become Richard Nixon's top secret advisors at the height of the Watergate scandal.
Vice President Ford will be sworn in at that hour. It's gonna be different now.
They'll never lie to us again.
This movie came and went at the time, but if you're a fan of Dunst, absolutely seek this comedy out. It's an underrated gem. Her finest comedy of the 1990s by far is the glorious mockumentary Drop Dead Gorgeous, about a small-town beauty pageant. Like Dick, Drop Dead Gorgeous didn't find an audience until it became a cult classic on home video.
I'm lucky I have an after-school job where I can practice my talent.
But let's be clear, she didn't abandon drama, because her two other 1999 releases offered some terrific performances in more serious fare. The first was the Showtime TV movie The Devil's Arithmetic, based on Jane Yolen's acclaimed novel, in which Dunst plays a modern-day teenager who goes through time and ends up in 1941 Poland. Also starring Brittany Murphy, The Devil's Arithmetic is a quietly powerful Holocaust drama that's well worth a look. And then there's probably Dunst's most well-known film of this period, Sofia Coppola's absolutely marvelous film, The Virgin Suicides, which had its premiere at the 1999 Cannes Film Festival and was finally released to theaters a year later in May 2000. In the movie, Dunst plays Lux Lisbon, one of 5 mysterious sisters in mid-1970s Detroit who are sheltered by their strict religious parents.
Can I sit up front?
Sure.
Which one of you is going to sit up front next to me?
Coppola's debut feature is a confident one, with gorgeous cinematography by Edward Lockman and the most mature Dunst performance to date. If the film had been released at the end of either 1999 or 2000, I feel like it might have received more awards attention overall, but its limited release in May 2000 I feel didn't keep the movie in the conversation long enough. All Dunst got for her performance, alas, was a Young Star Award nomination. Not that Dunst was crying over her lack of nominations around this time. She was about to be catapulted into the big leagues, first with her star-making performance in 2000's Bring It On, about a champion high school cheerleading squad, and then Sam Raimi's original Spider-Man trilogy, the 3 films starring Tobey Maguire as the web-slinging superhero released in 2002, 2004, and 2007.
You do love me,
I do.
even though you said you didn't.
The Spider-Man films were never going to be ones to give Dunst a lot of awards, although, let's be clear, she did win the MTV Movie Awards for Best Female Performance and Best Kiss for Spider-Man 1, but they sure made her famous. Her performances in those films always grounded and emotionally rich. Throughout this time, she gave terrific performances in lots of movies, small and large. She's the best thing about Peter Bogdanovich's The Cat's Meow from 2001. The same year, her star continued to rise with her role in the romance drama Crazy Beautiful. Her performance in the 2003 Oscar bait drama that turned out to be a big Oscar flop, Mona Lisa's Smile, is a standout. And if she had a little more screen time, and if the film had been released later in the year, I think Dunst's performance in Michel Gondry's inventive 2004 romantic drama, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, would have gotten more consideration at the major award shows for Best Supporting Actress.
What shall we do? I don't know. Mellow out. You're freaking me out. Mellow out.
Oh, we have to do something. He can wake up.
Okay.
Oh, I have faith.
Quiet.
Most of the movie's focus is on Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet, as it should be, but Dunst's role as Mary leaves a major impression on the viewer too. Dunst did solid work in Wimbledon and Elizabethtown, 2 films that didn't exactly connect with most audiences, but I would argue her most stellar performance of the 2000s came in 2006, in another Sofia Coppola vehicle, the dazzling, underrated Marie Antoinette. Most of her roles in the previous years have been supporting ones or the female lead, but here she's the whole show, wearing in one scene after another amazing Oscar-winning costumes, her impressive performance as France's ill-fated queen, never getting lost in all the stylish glamour.
Well, I certainly have nothing to say to her. And why should I approve of his cavorting with a harlot?
Your Royal Highness.
Well, that's what she is. Everyone knows that she's from a brothel and that title was bought for her.
The film did okay during award season, winning the only Oscar it was nominated for, and Coppola taking a prize at Cannes, but overall the movie came off to many as a disappointment, which is too bad because it features some of Dunst's best work in her long and varied career. There was a bit of a dry spell for Dunst after Spider-Man 3, the actress only appearing in a couple small movies the next few years, but she came back with a vengeance big time in 2011 with a role that became her first since Interview with the Vampire to put her into serious awards consideration. Melancholia, written and directed by Lars von Trier, tells of two sisters who find their strained relationship challenged as a mysterious new planet threatens to collide with Earth.
The Earth is evil. We don't need to grieve for it. What? Nobody will miss it.
The film gives us a new side of Dunst we'd never seen before. Unrestrained, ultra-complicated. If the science fiction drama, which co-stars Charlotte Gainsbourg and Kiefer Sutherland, had received a wider theatrical release and had a better reaction from general audiences, I think Dunst could have been a serious contender in early 2012 for some Best Actress nominations. She won Best Actress at the 2011 Cannes Film Festival, and she was awarded Best Actress from the National Society of Film Critics, but Melancholia, sadly, kind of fell through the cracks that award season, Dunst shockingly not even able to make it in at the Golden Globes. She continued working steadily throughout the rest of the 2010s, appearing in smaller films like On the Road, The Two Faces of January, and Midnight Special. Over the course of a few months, she gave two of her finest film performances that decade. The first, her supporting performance in the Best Picture Oscar-nominated Hidden Figures from 2016, which won Dunst and the rest of the cast the Ensemble Prize at the Screen Actors Guild Awards.
New assignment came down the pike. Always changing around here. It's hard to keep up. Seems like they're gonna need a permanent team to feed that IBM.
Octavia Spencer was the rightful supporting actress nominee for this film at the Academy Awards, but Dunst makes the most of her limited amount of screen time. Her other noteworthy film of this period is the captivating drama The Beguiled, which reteamed Dunst with Sofia Coppola in this remake of the 1971 Don Siegel movie starring Clint Eastwood.
What's your biggest wish? If you could have anything in the world, what would it be?
Anything.
Yeah, anything.
To be taken far away from me.
Coppola assembled a stellar cast for her 2017 version, including Colin Farrell, Nicole Kidman, and Elle Fanning. This story of a wounded Union soldier who stays at a girls' school in Virginia was the perfect fit for Coppola's unique sensibilities. The building of tension throughout, even better, I think, than in the 1970s original. And Dunst is once again outstanding, her performance perfectly modulated at all times. Probably her most acclaimed performances in the 2010s didn't come from movies, they came from roles in television. She got tremendous notices for her part in season 2 of Fargo, where she met her future partner Jesse Plemons. In the story of a young couple who attempt to cover up a hit and run and murder of the son of a crime family, Dunst got many episodes to develop a fascinating three-dimensional character.
Okay. It's just practically, I'm saying, as a person, a married person, a woman who's worried she's not living up to her full potential.
Her spectacular performance in season 2 of Fargo netted Dunst her first Golden Globe nomination in 21 years, her first and still to date only Emmy nomination, and a Critics' Choice Award win for Best Actress in a movie made for television or limited series.
This is so fun. Thank you. I'm so grateful to the critics. Thank you so much. Thank you to Noah Hawley for writing one of the best roles I've ever played. And to our wonderful cast, I love you guys so much.
Her other big show, which dropped in 2019, was Showtime's On Becoming a God in Central Florida, in which Dunst plays a minimum wage water park employee in 1992 who lies, schemes, and cons her way up the ranks of a multi-billion-dollar pyramid scheme.
I had to walk here because my car's at the bottom of a swamp. I need a raise, an advance, something.
You don't walk here today? Yeah, I saw you. Ernie gave you a ride.
An alligator ate my husband.
What I love so much about Dunst is her never-ending desire to take risks on daring original projects, and such was definitely the case with this one, her role of Crystal Stubbs giving her yet another fascinating character to sink her teeth into for 10 compelling episodes. She didn't get into the Emmys for this performance, sadly, but she did receive a Critics' Choice Award nomination, as well as her third Golden Globe nomination, this time in the musical or comedy category. As we entered the 2020s, one could have assumed Dunst's chances at her first Oscar nomination had effectively faded, her star not as high as it once was, her most prolific and successful period as a film actress being between 1994 in 2007. If the Oscar nomination was going to happen, it seemed like it would have been during that time. I stayed patient, hoping for that one juicy film role and that one great director she could work with that could finally turn things around.
We're treating this as a Parents' Night Out because tomorrow we have to fly to New Zealand to do a movie. So this is
a little date night?
Yeah, our last hurrah before we leave the country.
And lo and behold, that's what we got in 2021 with The Power of the Dog, directed by the great Jane Campion, the movie that finally earned Dunst her first Academy Award nomination. Telling the story of a charismatic rancher played by Benedict Cumberbatch who torments those around him, like his brother George and George's wife Rose, the film was a massive critical darling right out of the gate, premiering to rave reviews at the Venice Film Festival, Telluride Film Festival, and Toronto Film Festival, quickly becoming the Oscar frontrunner for Best Picture.
I wonder why it was stars she gave us. Why not diamonds? Why not hearts? Why not spades? Why? I wonder why it was always stars.
Everyone was being lauded for this one, including Dunst, who gave a vulnerable, devastating, hypnotic turn, one of her finest ever. She received a Golden Globe nomination, a Critics' Choice Award nomination, as well as her first ever individual nom at the Screen Actors Guild Awards. Cumberbatch got his second Oscar nomination, and Cody Smith-McPhee scored his first. Also receiving their first Oscar nominations were both Jesse Plemons and Dunst, a rare feat for a real-life couple.
To be nominated as a couple is just, for our first time ever, it's just a beautiful thing for our family and everything.
The question this time wasn't if Dunst would get into the Supporting Actress category at the Academy Awards. Her nomination early on last award season was just about the closest to a sure thing there could have been. The question was, could she actually win? In September, nobody had seen West Side Story yet, so for a while there, Dunst was the favorite to win the Oscar. Audiences were able to rediscover Dunst in this movie, the breadth of her enormous talent, the quiet power she can hold over the viewer without saying a single word. She might have lost the Oscar, which went to Ariana DeBose for West Side Story, of course, a performance that swept every major award show last season, and rightfully so. But Dunst, for me, and so many others, I'm sure, was always in the second place slot. Her turn in The Power of the Dog, potentially her best work in a career of so many incredible performances over the last 30 years. The question now becomes, when will Dunst get another shot at Oscar? As of this recording, she's filming the next project by the fantastic writer-director Alex Garland, the man who made Ex Machina, Annihilation, and the currently in theaters Men. After her Oscar nomination for The Power of the Dog, Dunst likely had her pick of some good scripts, and her going with the next Alex Garland project is likely an excellent choice. Will Dunst's next movie, currently titled Civil War, bring her a second Oscar nomination? Only time will tell. No matter what happens, Kirsten Dunst is one of the most talented actresses of her generation, always surprising and delighting us throughout the decades, and I feel totally confident that her elusive Oscar is coming. As long as she continues working with amazing directors like Jane Campion, Alex Garland, and Sofia Coppola, she'll absolutely be up on the Dolby stage, holding that gold trophy, sooner rather than later. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite Dunst performance? Do you think she should have won an Oscar by now? See you next time.